about the change in program or something.
Yeah, but it's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 7 o'clock. I call this meeting of the General Government and Public Safety Committee to order. Attendance has been taken. If you would join with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to open the floor to comments from citizens. Hearing none, we'll close that. Moving on to General Government and Finance, Economic Development.
I was expecting to receive momentarily an application for an EV proposal, but it's been delayed.
Yes.
They're coordinating with the Department of Economic Development.
Great.
I spent some time today talking with a local citizen who has some thoughts about doing a new service business on Whistler Street. I'll leave it at that. It needs to be coordinated with another branch of city government.
All right.
And if it comes through, that will require some upzoning, some downzoning. Denny, is your company ready to make an announcement yet?
About what? For ice cream cones?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's public notice now.
Why don't you? Because the sold signs are on the property.
Yeah. Over across is buying the Dairy Queen and I think it's, I don't remember, 2 acres or so, 2.5 acres behind it, straight back to the fairgrounds.
All right.
And we're gonna build a bigger lumberyard. I'm not sure that, I'm getting old enough to slow down, I don't know.
Delegate.
Yeah, exactly. Not enough to delegate too, though, that's a big one.
All right.
And so who's buying these?
Do you want it? It'd be, I mean, I will be serious, they will make somebody a pretty good deal, because, I mean, they've had it since whenever Cross was there, 18 something. So they've got their money's worth out of it, so.
No, yeah.
All right. Be good for something.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Anything else? Anything else under economic development?
I would like to acknowledge that Creddy is here. And would you all like this spot on the agenda to give us a kind of feedback and update every month?
Yes.
Or, okay.
And we kind of did a little sampling today of that. That'll was put together rather quickly today, but in the future it will be more formal and laid out a little differently. So,
Okay, that'd be great.
We could go permanent item on the agenda.
yes.
Yeah. Take care of
Under
that. Economic development?
That's run economic development.
Yeah. We'll call it Creddy from now.
No.
Because
Creddy.
there'll be other things on the agenda.
Yeah. I know the chamber usually comes to regular board meeting, because their meeting is tomorrow.
Tomorrow
Afternoon,
afternoon.
yeah.
These are the final versions?
Yes, those are the final.
Are you good? Well, when you have copies, I guess you're gonna bring them for us to insert, or is that something else?
To insert.
Check with the newsletters. These
Okay, that was the purchase with purpose is gonna be.
Yes. Purchase of the purpose.
If we have a few of these extra,
Yes.
then we'll make sure that they're.
Has the inserts been delivered to you for your city newsletter? They should be coming if they're not.
Yeah, I have not seen them.
They should be here today.
Coming
We don't
from
have them.
Richmond.
Richmond should be bringing them.
Okay.
I think we're talking about 2 different things. The Business Expo flyer, Lynn, that you're inquiring about, I did set some out front and put them on the bulletin board.
Okay.
But yes, that is the final copy too.
Sometimes I walk right.
That's all right. No, we just put it out there, so,
They came in.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Was there any questions on anything we had down here?
I apologize, I'm really quickly reading this, so something does come up, I can certainly contact. I have a question.
Okay, yeah.
Did you all have that meeting with the school on the, for the welding training program?
We did, and they were a little, surprised too that, because they had been wondering what happened, why nothing had ever happened with that. We also went and toured the welding facility, talked to the instructors there, and we arranged for Richard Dickerson, whose wife is a counselor at the school, so hooked him up with the school. He's going to get the specs that's needed from Humboldt,
Okay,
and so we're all going to meet again and see what we can do to get that pushed through.
okay.
It involves a lot of different things, OSHA rules, the cost of the consumables, certified instructor, but none of those to me are insurmountable, so we should be able
Right.
to make some progress.
I did, I met with Jess last week, to talk about the OSHA stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah, it was very good.
It seemed that one organization was waiting on the other one, and so they're both kind of in limbo. And hopefully, we would, as an organization, will be able to, I don't know,
You go with
moderate that or something, keep things moving along, hopefully,
Right.
with that,
Very good.
between the two.
Thank you.
Anything else under economic development?
No.
Park board, there is an agenda.
Yeah, they'll meet a week from tomorrow. I believe you were emailed minutes of a special visioning meeting they had on Tuesday.
Anything else from park board? Cemetery report.
Nothing.
Okay. Tree board?
Lots of trees down, but no tree board.
Exactly.
Yeah. For what it's worth, and jumping ahead just a little, we had outages in two places because of broken branches finally falling out of trees and taking out lines behind Mace Meadows and then down the alley in the next block here. And they were able to work along one quickly, the other required a little bit more time, and they're going to wait to complete the repairs until it's a bit warmer.
Friday, Thursday, Friday.
Wednesday.
Okay. Thank you.
Library board. Just quick meeting. And that's it. Anything else from the library?
No, sir.
They're having Teen Tech Night this week. Teen Tech
Do
Week.
tell.
It's different things every day. I don't know if Lori knows anymore, but I know on Friday night they have a special evening where the teens come in and they have chips and pizza and soda. And the kids are just, sharing in fellowship, and it's geared around technology. So they're able to use their different technology pieces that they have and just kind of come together. So, and that's Friday night at 7 o'clock, I believe.
All right.
So it's a meeting of the gadgets.
That's right, meeting of the gadgets.
February financial statements.
We have those in our emailed agendas. I didn't see any surprises. This is for 11 out of 12 months. It'll be the last one you get before you have to look at the budget. Subsequent to these, I have received another round of sales tax, which is above target for this month, so the year will be above target and adequate for all resources. Total property taxes is more or less in line. I hope we get a little bit more, but it's some of it's lost in slippage or people not paying the personal property tax, I guess. The only thing that remains outstanding as far as the general fund revenue is the manufacturing and merchant surcharge, which I will get about the third week of this month. It's one big lump sum, and I keep my fingers crossed.
It's big.
Because it is very big, and it should be the same or higher than last year, but there's no guarantees. It goes into a big black computer box, and Wendy Norton gets the results at the last minute and turns it over to the county treasurer to pay out money.
Okay.
They can't give us any sort of advance estimate, it has to go through the full calculation.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Bills over $1,250. Any questions?
What page is that on?
That is on page, let me figure it out.
58.
Thank you.
What she said.
What's the wireless USA?
Those are new, 5 new radios for the fire truck.
Yeah, narrow banding, and most of those paid for by the police, or the police department came from a
Grant.
federal/state grant. There were some that we had to pay for on our own. In this case, we didn't replace all of them, some of them were just reprogramming, right?
Correct. We reprogrammed and we've got new ones.
Okay. Anyway, that was.
The new ones are in the truck, that's probably what that bill for, had to put them all in all the trucks.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of, it should be a combination of both, and it was budgeted. Because we knew we had the deadline coming up. It actually got done after the deadline, but the feds haven't been
It says installation.
Yeah.
I just thought the electrical department was gonna put the radios in.
No, that was never part of it.
It wasn't?
No, it was never.
Well-
Wireless is the provider for the grant.
But most of,
Contract that out. Electric department may do
It's very
some work
cheap.
with respect to, as they did with respect to this tower.
didn't the electric department actually install them in the trucks after, reinstall them after they were reprogrammed?
No.
Mark didn't touch them at all.
Huh?
Mark didn't touch them at all.
No,
I know he did all the utility trucks, I
No,
thought
he
he
didn't
did
do
yours
it,
too.
he didn't do fire department.
That's what I thought. I thought he did all the utility trucks, so he was doing.
I don't know specifics, I'll find out and I'll have an answer for you during the meeting.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Any other questions for bills over 1,250? Moving on, other general government.
It's losing track here. Lost my agenda. No, it has notes on it.
Oh, okay.
And I have nothing to bring up another topic.
Okay. Moving on to public safety, city prosecutor.
Haven't heard from her as to when she can set up a time to visit. Still waiting.
Larry, I know you converse with her often. Did you bring that up for her?
It may not be a regular board meeting, it might not even be these. As I said, she's gotten some extra duties working as an attorney for other cities,
Yeah.
which amazingly tend to have monthly meetings too.
Well, she could go from, you know, she could at least hit a service often then, right?
Yeah.
1:30, 5, 6 minutes.
Depends on the day expectation. I don't know.
years. Yeah.
Moving on, police department, activity reports in your packet. Any questions?
Was February a pretty typical month, Larry?
seems we were up, I told you a while back, we were up over compares where we were 2011, and I just looked at the incident numbers, approved reports, same day last year, we're exactly where we were.
Okay.
So we're still a third over.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions on the activity report? Any other police department? Did you have a chance to have a read? Anything to share?
I did talk with Merritt today, and,
I didn't know if you felt comfortable sharing any of that, or
well, we have ordinance that requires if someone is convicted, then we can revoke a business license. But that's all I'm gonna say about that right now. That case is still pending, so.
no, well, it's separate from, I mean, having a remedy, regardless of what the case is or whatever, that's what I'm after. I'm not trying to discuss specific case.
No, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to fire department, activity report, it's in your packet. Thank you guys for responding so quickly to the emergency call I had to place.
Good job.
Okay.
Yeah, my stepfather is doing better, he's doing better.
Good.
So I do appreciate the quick response.
Thank you and your department for the job that they did on the fire station overhaul and stuff. A lot of hard work went into that, for sure.
Lots of time.
Yep.
Exactly.
Thank
Any other fire department? Anything you want to bring up?
Nope, we've got the other truck now. I have radiator redone and the valve, we got it back open, that's over to the other side, the yellow one is. The red one, both everything's red on this side now, so. But we did it, the night of the electrical storm, we did mess up a air brake thing on the new fire truck, so. That's not a new fire truck, though, it's about 15, 16, 17. It's due to happen, so.
Newer.
Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah.
It's nothing major. It's just an airline valve or something.
At least you didn't put it in the ditch,
No.
like the street department did.
Emergency management?
I believe you have something.
Yeah, well, actually, let me fire off. I had done some in my free time that I currently have while I am searching for a new position. I've been working on coming up with an emergency messaging system for the city. And I'm going to send off a message here that's going to go to the entire group. If I can somehow get back into it here. Well, let me just discuss it. Everyone has a handout that I laid. The purpose for this is, we've got this ability currently to send out text messages to people. This is a system that, I basically developed just so that we can manage it as a large list of people. So for example, we go and let's say we get some information in the paper. We have sign-up sheets at City Hall or wherever we want to put them. Someone gives us their cell phone number, tells us their provider. In my little example that I put in the handout, I just put, my name in, what my cell phone number is, who my provider is. I listed that I was part of the Alderman group and I was also part of Ward 1. This grouping concept is just how we want to slice and dice it. We can have larger lists, Centralia PD, you can have power department, water, however we want to slice and dice this list. So it doesn't have to necessarily be for emergencies, but if we're talking about the entire citizenry, it really should be for emergency only. Because I don't want anybody to get message fatigue, for lack of better terms. And so, that in mind, dispatch would then be able to go in and say, I need to broadcast a message out to the entire list of Centralia citizens. So as long as we knew what their cell phone number was, that text message that dispatch would type in would show up on their phone. So it's really the first stages of what a lot of people term a reverse 911 system, as opposed to someone calling in, the water main broke. We lost water pressure throughout the city. Well, it was on a weekend. The ability for people to disseminate that information out to understand what's going on. Is there an ETA for this? Well, dispatch was completely inundated with it because that was the only way to call in. Well, that's not an emergency. We could have very easily have turned around and broadcasted that out to anybody we had a cell phone number on. And then that would just show up as a text message. And then a very quick way to disseminate information to large groups of people that we, Red Cross is sending up a location here in town. Like, so we had a tornado go through. Red Cross is at this location, or a train derailment, or whatever. The possibilities are endless as to what we might want to broadcast out. But the point being is, this manages it and aggregates it into one system, so that we have a one-stop shop, basically, to be able to send out these messages. And the cost to the city is labor, basically. Getting the data and then putting it into the system. I'm basically donating the system. I'm not asking for money for it. So, thought about ways from a disaster recovery standpoint, because obviously if the F5 comes through and takes out dispatch, well, that was where your messaging system was. So how do you get the message out? That's actually something, and I apologize, I was right in the middle of putting the message out, water main break causes citywide loss of pressure on a tablet. That's something that we literally could do as long as we have access to a cellular data network. As long as we can get the message to something for it to then broadcast it back out is the biggest thing we have to have. It doesn't have to be a PC. It can be something as portable as this. And other possibility is we have some sort of reciprocal agreement with another geographically distant location, like another city or another town. And I would be more than happy to give them the same system. It's not a big deal to me. But the point being is the reciprocation agreement is if we were completely down, we would ask them to text the messages for us, or vice versa. They have a complete disaster and they need us to be able to do it. It's kind of along the same things as this joint dispatch can do. And who knows, hopefully we'll have more conversations. But I just wanted to propose that. It's something that, from a technology standpoint, we actually have everything we need, minus the software, but the software I pretty much need another hour to test it, and then I'm served.
Data entry,
Well, that's the labor board, yeah.
that's the labor part. Is there any way that on our website, the citizens who could be advertised, that they sign themselves up to the system?
I can't, the only thing that worries me about doing that is if somebody's being ornery, or I want to say malicious, but I could see somebody going in and putting in something that's not valid. The other thing that I really have to make sure of, and Merrick probably should be involved in the conversation, is depending on your plan, you might get a 25-cent or whatever your carrier charges you text message fee. Well, I need you to affirm to me that you're okay with doing that, because it's going to cost you potentially a little bit of money. Negligible, but still, that potential's there. So if someone were to sign up, I really need them to understand. It's almost like when you, I hate to admit this, but I've seen on American Idol, at the bottom it'll say text messaging rates apply when you call in, like, to whatever their number is when you're voting.
95 cents.
Or whatever, but I mean, it's whatever your carrier charges you to receive a text message. Because to your phone, it's no different than me getting out my cell phone and sending you a text message. It's just that we're sending it to potentially 1,000 people at a time. The other thing is I need to make sure very specifically, you are responsible if you change your phone number. Seems obvious, but they need to have that ingrained in them, because yeah, we're gonna take this information down, but if you change providers or change numbers, something that we don't know about, you're not gonna get the message anymore.
So, is it possible that there'd be a slew of dead numbers on the system eventually, if there's not a mechanism for cleaning them out, like once a year or
Well,
so?
you see, the problem is like when you send a text message until you get a reply, I'm not really sure that that text message really had a delivery. There's not like a read receipt like an email has per se, or a delivery receipt even, which email has as well. One of the things I thought about doing is, like when they first sign up, part of the entry into this initial part, when the person hit save, I intended to ask the person doing the data entry, would you like to send a test message to this person? And as part of their sign up to say, if you don't receive a test message within the next 24 hours, call, contact us because we might have typed it in wrong. Because I really do want to make sure that date is right. Making sure it's not stagnant or gets, you know, changed without knowing about it. I'm not too sure I have a silver bullet for that yet. I don't have a way of knowing unless I ask for, you know, responses. I mean, I hate to broadcast out another, hey, this is the citywide emergency broadcast test, you know, that type of thing. I'm not too sure the easiest way to get around it. Sir?
After you were in this afternoon talking about it, it occurs to me that a true reverse 911 system, at least those I know about, are also slaved over to a GIS system. It's possible you can have a screen, a touch screen, circle a neighborhood. That becomes the universe of numbers that receive the message, so you could be more specific in who gets the outage report or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'll have to check with Midland on.
Well, I mean,
Is it possible to have a universe of members, as you described here, that's sort of on the fly, that's
based on a layer of data from the GIS
Right.
system.
exactly.
Well, I mean, as long as we had an address to geolocate, we should be able to then pinpoint it on a layer from the GIS system.
So we really need a physical address to go with these numbers.
Yeah. And this is just, you know, obviously I'm up for changes. I can do whatever we want to this thing since I wrote it, so.
Okay, let me talk to Midland before we try to implement this. And
Absolutely.
Again, if the council is interested in this, I'll also try and make an arrangement with Scott Olson, the Emergency Management Director, to discuss it and see if there's anything he knows about that are problems we aren't considering, or if other cities in Boone County could use it.
Like I said, I mean, even if it took 1,000 people off, I mean, taking our population and take 1,000 of them and say that they gave us their cell phones, just relieving that pressure of the people who don't know what's going on, just reducing that number. I mean, we potentially could significantly take stress off of dispatch, especially when it's a weekend, when there's nobody else to answer the question.
Right.
Plus, it also allows us to push the information out rather than nobody knows and everybody's trying to call in, limited resources, limited lines coming in, they get busy signals, so I keep trying. Well, that keeps stacking up. And it just seems like a very inexpensive way we could be letting the citizens know what's going on, especially in those situations specifically.
Right.
Any thumbs down? So you have your conversation with Scott and we'll revisit?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as the system, and if we need to add more fields, that's the first part of adding new fields to get addresses isn't a big deal at all. We just obviously need to ask it of the person signing up. The question of the sign up also needs to be, is this a new entry or are you updating an existing entry? So the person doing the data entry immediately knows I better go find the roll record and update it versus just adding in a new one. It doesn't hurt anything if you add another accidentally, but it'd be nice to know that.
Well, since the base map should integrate with the assessor's maps, which should already have addresses, that sort of integration shouldn't be too difficult.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think they work that way. I
Understand.
don't think they do.
I mean, this may involve a lot of people before we're done.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I just thought from a, you know, purely, obviously I see a lot of things from a technology standpoint. Purely from that, we have the ability, if we have a good way of aggregating and sending as big chunks. Well, I filled that hole. The ability to send these as big mass text message lists out, that technology is already here. So we don't have to pay anything extra for that portion. Go ahead.
Is there a way, the idea about signing up yourself or all going online? I mean, I sign up for different newsletters or whatever lots of times online, and there's an automatic verification process that it's not authenticated until they send you an email back and you respond to it or something. Is that
Yeah, I mean,
Is that a possibility, or is that too
all
tough?
no, all those things are possible. I mean, we could set up through the Centralia website that someone goes in and fills in their information. When they submit or save, basically, we generate to that number the same gist. You have just been signed up to receive Centralia Broadcast Awards, or whatever you know, calling the thing, and so that they would get the message to come across. It would be. It's all possible, very possible. I just, whenever you open up something like that, people just, I always get, wow, I'm gonna see what we get.
My concern would be the expense and tying the labor up.
Oh, sure.
To do it manually.
From a technical standpoint, that is possible to do.
And tying somebody up, if we could figure out, I think it'd be great if people were responsible enough to sign themselves up. Some kind of verification process, plus some kind of feature that you have to renew somehow.
Oh, to reaffirm.
Because there's nothing like having a database that you think is accurate that's junk and no way to verify. Right. I mean,
Sure, no, I don't disagree. Did everybody get the message?
I did.
I did.
Okay. Well, I apologize, I wasn't able to find this report. Thank you, sir. But those text messages, if you were to hit reply to them, they would come back to the email box that ended up sending it originally. So there is a way we could get some sort of reply back, grab that out, understand that they have affirmed through their phone that they want to receive it. I mean, that is possible as well.
I replied. So is it there?
One moment, please. It's pulling through right now. I have a thank you from somebody. Oh my, from somebody else. I'll leave it at that. So we'll talk, Scott, and go from there.
right.
Okay.
The beauty of it is like Dad said, he wrote the program. Just an outstanding asset to us over the police department too, in respect to ways from our existing fleet and what we're gonna do going forward. I appreciate his efforts with respect to that.
Thanks, sir.
As you can see, folks, who's the spokesman from the group?
Everybody's doing this.
This is the city council. That's the mayor and then the councilman and the city administrator. I want you to tell them who you are first and then tell them what path you're with, okay? Speak up so they can hear you like you were hollering at your mother. Okay? Speak up.
My name is Robbie Ditto, and I'm part of Pack 90.
Okay, and what brings you over here tonight? Did you go to the police department first?
Yeah.
Do you have to do that as part of your Cub Scout program?
Yeah.
Do you? Okay, how many folks are in your pack? Looks like quite a few.
Who's in the pack?
Who's in the
Raise
pack?
your wolves.
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand. I think she is. She goes every week.
Okay. Well, in just a moment, I'm gonna let the mayor and some of the councilmen explain to you kids a little bit about what they do. For those of you that are in uniform or the pack, you can come up here where you can talk to them and listen if you want to. Okay? Come on up here. Is this part of your government thing? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we have visit a government building or historic building. Find out what the purpose is.
Yes. You did? You saw my office? Did Eli's dad move anything on my desk?
Yeah.
He did.
He moved your computer.
He did.
He moved everything.
You know how to turn a computer on.
All right, turn around so you can talk to
He
them.
moved this up to paper.
He did. You know what's gonna happen.
Somebody's in trouble.
Okay. Come here. Come on up here if you want to. Okay, just, if Mayor, if you could start out, just, like we do. Just-
All right, how are you kids tonight?
Good.
Good. You have any questions for me or the city council? Do you know what the city council does?
No. They kind of help the government.
They help the government. Well, we are the government. So the city council actually runs the city and passes the laws of the city. And yes,
What does everyone do here?
well, we meet and we discuss different laws and different aspects of the city and try to make the best decision that will benefit the entire community. Okay. Did that answer your question? All right.
If you could just go around the room, tell them who you are, please, and how long you've been on the council. Don?
Oh, I'm Don Borman. This is a part-time job. Doesn't pay very well. But we do get a very small stipend to attend these meetings. But I have a business here in town, Borman Surveying, so that's what I do full-time. And we meet 3 nights a month to take care of city business.
David Wilkins, another alderman. Today's meeting, we're talking specifically about public safety, for example. So we're talking about the police department, fire department, EMS, those types of things. We're also talking about general government. Well, I'm not going to get into general government, so that's not that exciting.
My name is Tim Grinke, and I've been the mayor since 2009. And I also work full-time for the Missouri National Guard, so I'm a soldier. And I do this mayor part-time. You're next.
I'm Catherine Simmons, and I've been on the board since 2008. And this was something I started because no one else in my ward was running at the time, and there was going to be an empty seat. And since then, I just kind of continued in my role. And this is something I highly recommend everybody do at least once in their life. So when you get old enough, then you can sit in this chair.
Very
If
good.
you're elected.
Very good.
My name's John Angel. I'm the Ward, one of 2 aldermen from Ward 2. The city's divided up into 3 wards, and I'm one of the representatives. So if somebody from my area has a concern of the way the city government runs, they can either talk to me or Don Borman, and we're supposed to represent their interest before the city business. And I've been doing this 2.5 years, maybe. So anyway, it's a lot of fun at times. Other times, not so much.
I'm Landon Magley, Alderman in Ward 3, been on the board a year, not quite a year. My family's all been on here, so I thought it was the thing to do. Sometimes I wish it's different, but that's all I've got.
Do you have any, let Mr. Barron speak.
I'm Lynn Behrens, I'm the city administrator. I'm a full-time employee of the city. I take my direction from the mayor and the board of aldermen. I prepare a budget for them every year. I make proposals to them that they say yes or no about, and then I handle the day-to-day running of the city. Hire and fire people, oversee clerks that do utility billing. I oversee utility people and public works people that keep the snow shoveled off the streets and the power coming to your houses, knock on wood. I've been here for 27 years now.
27 years.
Good job.
Almost 28.
That's almost as old as I am.
Okay, do we have time for a couple of questions? What?
Who's the city clerk?
The city clerk is Heather Lockett. Do you know her?
She's not here tonight.
No,
She usually sits right here.
She'll be here next week at our
She's
full,
great.
full council meeting.
Braden's mom. You know Braden Lockett from school?
You know what grade he is?
I don't. Did you have a question?
Do you have to bring people that need to talk about the laws here?
Yes.
Yes.
Like
Very
people
neat.
that are going to be arrested if they misspell the word, if they did
I don't usually bring them here. If they're gonna be arrested, then the chief and his people handle that. Yeah. If they break the city law, then the police department can arrest them and make charges, and then the city prosecutor will prosecute them in court.
But we do hold court in this room once a month.
Yes.
So the judge sits right here, and he'll run
Yes.
the court operation.
There you go.
But
Who's your Cub Scout leaders?
My mom and my dad.
Well, I guess that. What's their names, honey?
Dustin and Aaron.
Justin and Aaron. Most of you know Corporal Bellamy and Ryan. And Mitt, this is the fire chief here. That's Denny Rush. He's the fire chief here in town. Did you know that? He's the fire chief.
He gets to drive around with a cool
Fire trucks, yeah.
That's where we need to go next year.
That's what my dad does.
All right, we'll get back after it.
I've got one question, Chief.
Sir,
How many of these fine young folks are from Ward 2? Do you guys know your wards? You guys need to check that out when you get home. Figure out, see if your parents know which ward they're in.
There you go.
Okay? That'll be your assignment for homework.
sometimes I have to look on the map.
So do I.
And sometimes I look on the map and say, well, that map's wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, John, you're gonna.
I'm sending them home with homework.
I know. They're not gonna want to come back.
Okay, we'll get back after.
I'll just make paper airplanes and go.
Listen, boys, we're glad to have you. And next year you're going to go to the firehouse, huh?
Hey, one last thing. If y'all get home and get on YouTube, maybe in the next couple of days, you'll be on camera.
Yeah, you'll be able to see yourselves on the computer, yeah.
Because we got it on YouTube now.
Okay. Any of the parents have any questions? You're welcome to stay as long as you like. Most folks run out of here like, you know.
Thank you all for coming in tonight.
Thank the mayor and the council. Thank you.
Very good. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you for coming in tonight.
You ready?
Good luck on your achievements.
For you. For you.
There you are.
Thank you.
Hand it to him.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, good night.
There you go.
Yeah. Swallow out so they come down the road.
There you go. That was on tape. All right, good night. Bye-bye.
Thanks for doing that.
I want to say,
Thank you.
but I
You know everybody.
want to say fifth grade, but I want to say I appreciate you all doing that.
Yeah, that was very fun.
Good way to do.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Just real quick, the great thing about this program is, for a while, it really gives us an opportunity from within, not just the police department, but city government. There's always been a gap between truly when we see what is just worse than normal bad weather, whatever normal bad weather is. We get calls at the police department from chance, wondering about bringing folks in, getting folks home, this, that. And not just snowstorms, but particularly spring-like bad weather. I think we've tried it in the past with some of the system we have from over there. But I really think this program that David's writing will be able to include in a group like Chance Hubble execs or whatever you want to say with that.
Right.
Bruce, I suppose, do the same, Kazuki. Yeah. He'll be a part of that, working with David going forward with respect to the chance home, and that would really help us out. One thing we can do is provide the information, they can shoot their best stick as to what they want to do, but I do think it's a giant step forward.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent tool in the event we need to, you know, open up a shelter or something like that. It'd be a lot easier to, you know, mass broadcast that out, saying, hey, here's the shelters that are active right now. If you need assistance, go to those shelters.
Yeah.
Well, and quite frankly, when the water pressure was lost, that to me
It's perfect.
was a perfect,
Right.
getting that message out.
We had 4 people on the phone lines for a whole afternoon.
Go absolutely, and bring in extra people just to answer phones. And we could have, with a good list, you know, I'm talking about the number of people on that list.
Yeah.
And you put out to 1,000 people at once,
They're gonna tell other people.
they're gonna tell their neighbor or be on the phone with the neighbor.
Right.
And the second phase to this, which I know how to write as well, is to then, for those people who don't have cell phones, we could either use what's called a text-to-speech engine, which would take computer text basically and vocalize it, or just a recorded message either way. But using the same kind of concept, pick up a phone line, the computer would do this. Then once it detected it's called a switch hook on the other end, where if someone's picked up, you know, you just drop the carrier on it, then playing that message or doing the text-to-speech part of it. For those people who don't have technology, which, you know, I won't comment about that. But for those people who just really do have just a regular telephone, we do have a solution. It will take a little more infrastructure. That will cost a little bit of money, not on my behalf, but I don't know that we have the phone line infrastructure, those types of things. That's what I'm saying. For phase 1, I think this could hit quite a few people. I mean, cell phones are ubiquitous now, so I really do think we could have a really big impact with not a lot of effort. And from a technology standpoint, we have a lot of it in place already. We just need this thing to aggregate.
Okay.
So,
That's perfect, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
Protective inspection.
Not much to report because the weather's kind of put a damper on
Yeah.
just about all activities. I do have contacts from 3 separate individuals wanting to be on the list for demolition subsidies just as soon as we adopt the budget. One's already signed all the paperwork, just ready to stay here, and the other 2 are going to be close behind, so.
So that means we got
That'll
two
be
left.
2.
Yeah.
Now, one of them was not the citizen that contacted us, but I talked to her husband about that and said if she has anything in mind, she should also be letting us know early because it's not going to last long.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Clifford wasn't around.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Under other, further budget discussion.
No, he's not, I told her. Okay.
Thank you.
That's good. You have copies of the budget. Has anybody located concerns that, oh, he's got one earmarked.
Oh, no, I was going to do a pop quiz.
So we
don't have a thick memory, so. I do have a copy for you, Jim, after the meeting. I'll give it to you. Questions? Concerns?
Or you can use that Ferris's.
I think that my predictions for both expenditures and revenues are close enough to target. There will be no ramifications on the next budget. And as I previously said, there will be 2 activities that need supplemental appropriations, but it's commensurate with supplemental revenue. Park and Recreation Center, just because more activities. And the ads were taken to the paper. I didn't review last week. I assume they were in there. And the copies of the budget have been on my counter, although I've not noticed anybody coming in to look at it.
Okay. speaking of budget, I mean, from the police department standpoint, Larry, confirm this if I'm correct. The part-time officer going to full-time is not going to require, from an equipment standpoint, he already has a vest. We won't have to purchase a vehicle for him. Nothing extra is on top of him going to full-time, correct?
Right, it's budgeted, period.
I just
There
want to
will-
clarify.
The only increase that I see is the fact that, as most of you know, I am the personal security for Coach Earl Bennett. He's been selected into the, there's nothing funny about it. He's been selected into the High School Hall of Fame. I think that'll happen in December. Makes him kind of a high value target. There's no way I can continue to do that with the current salary. I mean, the current salary, you know, 15 to 20,000 a year, you know, just my part alone, I think, you know, kind of helps off with that blow.
You don't think the school's got the money?
The school's probably got the rest of the money, he can cover you. School board can cover you.
I see me hammering the school as, that's between me and the school. Right now, I'm hammering you.
First things first.
I'll borrow the new officer's flak jacket before you come and see me.
Well,
I think we should double the salary that you're currently getting for that portion of your.
that's already been, yes, that's already been posed, and I think the alderman's brother over there, who was, I thought he was so cute when he said that. But anyway, yeah, with respect to the full-time thing, I suppose we drove
You know, if you come up with any last minute suggestions, let me know, otherwise it will come before you at public hearing next week.
Okay.
yeah.
What? Are we voting on that day?
It's just a mayoral appointment. Vote.
Next is a regular board meeting, and we do a public hearing on both the budget and the amendments to last year's, well, it's technically still this year's budget for those two activities. Then you will adopt them by resolution. We will also have a contract for credit, a contract for the Chamber of Commerce, and unless something goes drastically wrong, a contract for somebody to do the street work this summer.
Okay.
And do we recess that meeting until first Monday in April?
Not quite. Technically, by tradition, we recess to some meeting very near the end of the month, so that we can have about a 5-minute meeting to pay any last-minute bills over $12.50 that require council approval.
Right.
That will get it on the record for the auditor and mean that we don't have a large volume or amount of accounts payable on the audit, because it's just easier to get it accounted for in the budget year. You get a list just like the one you got for tonight. It may only have 1 or 2 items. Sometimes that's been that small, and you typically have it at like maybe 5:30 or 5:45, and it lasts about 5 minutes, and then you're in and out. And then you will recess again to have a regular recessed meeting. In all likelihood, it's the next general government meeting.
Or April 8th?
8th. We should have the results of the election by then, so you can have a meeting that is official board meeting, that you certify the election results and adjourn signing die. And then that night, or the regular scheduled board meeting night, you can then do all of the various things that you do as organizing. Appoint the city clerk, appoint the mayor pro tem, appoint committees, all that. And You thought, you were going to have some personnel appointments, but you can do those this meeting, so.
Right. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
My understanding, one of the aldermen will not be here next Monday, so are we still going to proceed with the vote on the budget and the contracts and everything with an alderman absent? And possibly, since Ferris is not here, possibly two?
Who's gonna be absent?
That was me.
Oh,
That's the
right,
week,
that's right,
that's
yeah.
the week of that show at Presser.
Right.
So I'm having to figure out, I'm gonna have to switch that around.
It is possible to adopt the budget. Without any great shakes, because budget is adopted by resolution. So it just requires a majority of a quorum. You can do it with 2 aldermen and the mayor casting a deciding vote, but it does take 4 aldermen proving to pass the ordinance that would be the contract. You know, if you need to press ahead on that, I mean, give Christine a little bit of extra chance to examine the results, and we'll certainly be able to notify whoever was the current low bidder. But if you wanted, because of an absence of Dave, to defer that particular ordinance or any others that might come up last minute,
And I apologize.
we could do that at the recess meeting too.
Right. That's what I was honestly hoping for.
Yeah, I'd like to do that at the recess meeting, so the whole board is here.
Okay. Well, Ferris will be.
So, yeah.
Well, at least more of us.
Yeah.
No, it's just Presser has that Easter thing.
Yeah.
If you do that and you're doing substantive business other than just approving bills, which are sort of pro forma, you might want to instead have it as a 7 o'clock meeting, so, because it might take 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but it would be open to the public at a more convenient time.
Yeah, I think that would be better. What do y'all think?
Could you repeat where we're at now?
So, what we would do is, next week's meeting, we would recess that to closer to the end of the month, like Friday the 29th.
Be a good day.
For a 5 or 10 minute meeting to tie up any loose bills and,
I'm not available on the 29th.
okay, 28th, Thursday?
No, I'd have to do it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of that week. That's Holy Week.
Yeah,
I'm in church.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Do it the Monday. What's that Monday?
28? No, 25th.
25th?
Do it the Monday.
I absolutely can.
Wait, we can do it Monday?
You can?
Absolutely. No, literally, it opens next week, the show does. That's why.
Right.
I'll have time
I think I'm available Monday or Wednesday of that week, so Monday would
Well,
fine.
Would it be better just to, I mean, I don't know, postpone next week's meeting till
No,
Monday?
no, we have an advertised public hearing next week.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And it was in
I
the
forgot.
paper, I saw it.
I forgot, sorry, thanks.
So at least you can do that.
Okay. So we'll recess next week's meeting till the following Monday.
Right. And
7
then you
o'clock.
recess that one
Recess that one
until.
until.
7 o'clock.
election.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna have a meeting every Monday this month.
It happens that.
So there'll be a bonus in your paycheck, I'm sure.
Yeah, I bet.
I'd say there'd be another 0 on your paycheck, but that won't be true.
Might be in the front.
Be on the front side.
Yeah, it's on the front side.
I do appreciate everyone's understanding on that.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
appreciate your service.
Thank you, Karen.
I said we appreciate your service.
Thank you.
I guess we can put it after the decimal point.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll probably charge us for lights.
I'm sorry.
They'll probably charge us for lights.
Okay. So we have a budget question.
Seems like it's an error.
No, that's preparation for Anchor Festival.
Okay, I couldn't figure that one out.
It's not a lot of hours,
I understand.
but they go in and set up all those outlets and run the power. But they don't usually have those energized or even in place. They're too susceptible to damage.
Yeah.
Any other budget discussions? Questions? All right, as we arrive. Sir,
You heard the commissioner and county sheriff made the presentation last evening. They wondered whether you would see fit to pass a motion to endorse that ballot proposition. So they add the city of Centralia to the list of organizations that are making such an endorsement.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I'm in favor of that.
I've talked to some people and they concur that that system is vital to the 911 program here in Boone County. And I think it's money well spent.
Here's what our options are.
Right.
Or lack of options are.
There are no
That'd be a good
options.
idea.
Yeah.
Go back to the good old days.
Yeah.
Then would that require
A motion, just a motion would be sufficient.
Okay, I move that we endorse the Boone County 911 proposal.
Tax.
Okay.
We have a motion on the table, here, a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passes.
Which, by the way, Dan will be up next Tuesday night at a candidate forum, and we'll discuss the pros of that. There will be somebody that will discuss the cons of that. So that will be after the alderman and the school board candidates. So anybody who's interested, next Tuesday night.
Next Tuesday, what time?
7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, excuse me, 6.
Thank you for the heads up for that.
So, but I did talk to him today, and he is planning on being up to discuss that.
Is the opponent going to be the lady who wrote the op-ed?
Yes, he will be.
That would be interesting.
Well, I'll tell you about that afterwards.
Any other items, Mayor Rice?
No, sir.
I do have a question. Catherine, are you gonna be at the candidate forum?
Yes, I am.
Okay, my wife wants to know because she hasn't gotten anything back from you.
Oh, I was planning on calling her.
Okay. So, I still don't know about Ferris, but
I would entertain a motion to
Yes, sir. Moved.
adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
No,
thank you.
A motion to adjourn is non-debatable.
Oh, it's not available. Okay.
Like I asked